What's up, Sandman Nation? We just celebrated Father's Day, got to see a thrilling U.S. Open, and I finally got to visit the American Sign Museum. So all is great in the world, but it is about to get even better because it is time to enter Sandman Sports. As always, I'm here with the one and only Pat Klett, a connoisseur of the finest mid-America motels ever constructed. And it looks like he may have discovered another gem. Wi-Fi gods, please carry us through the next 75 minutes. And then there's the OG of OGs, Mr. Bill frickin' Sanders. This guy wouldn't be caught dead in a Motel 6. If it doesn't say Ritz or Waldorf, don't even frickin' bother. But you know what? When you're as awesome as Bill Sanders is, damn it, you've earned it. So, Bill, grab that robe, slide into the slippers, call in the masseuse, and let's have a great show. All right, boys. Well, let's get into it. Before we do, let's tell everyone where our listeners can find us. You can find us everywhere this summer, like fat, out of shape linemen stumbling into training camp. And yes, guys, it is only about a month away. So getting a little excited about football starting up. We will have training camps and all the football news, previews, and predictions you could want. So be sure to hit us up at entersandmansports.com. Check us daily, constantly dropping new content, articles, videos, live scores, and so much more. Just this week, we've added coverage on the NBA, the WNBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, college football, college baseball, Beerman six packs, Sandman's golf crushing fades, these podcasts, and we published our most recent article on The Fringe, which looks at the pretty cool story of Bill Bradley, basketball Hall of Famer and longtime U.S. Senator. You can also follow us at Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at Enter Sandman Sports. All right, gentlemen. Well, as we get into the opening, I just want to start by asking, how were your Father's Days? I was fortunate. My family always pampers me, and I get to watch a lot of golf. But I want to start with you guys. Pat, did your family spoil you on Sunday?
Well, so my son and I went golfing, which I was trying to watch the U.S. Open while I was golfing, and that was too difficult. So I just shut it off, and my brother-in-law texted me, the results. I didn't even watch the finish, unfortunately. I watched everything.
Wow.
I watched everything up until like hole 12. And then I shut
weather
it off.
delays too.
I shut it off. I wanted to focus.
No, the weather delays sucked.
Yeah, I wanted to focus on playing some golf with my boy, which was awesome.
Yeah,
and
that's fun.
my daughter painted me in a beautiful picture, and so they're always good to me. Yep. How about you, Bill?
Awesome. Yeah, it was good. Spoiled. Mars invited her sister and my brother-in-law down. My nephew just wrapped up college up at Western Washington, so he joined us. Just really fun to hang out with everybody, and barbecued up some tri-tip and just had delicious food and just hung out. And it was absolutely a blast. I was saying before we recorded, but my Father's Day, Marcy had asked me, what do you want to do? And I was like, I really would like to sit on my butt and watch golf. That's what I would like to do.
I don't even know why. I don't even know why there is a Father's Day. My wife does most of the work anyhow. I don't even think there should be a
You don't deserve
Day.
it? Is that what you're saying? You don't deserve Father's Day? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was awesome. Very, very chill. They gave me exactly what I wanted, and then the U.S. Open just delivered times 1 million. So it was really fun day. How about you, Beerman?
Yeah, well, for me, it all started with a big breakfast that Jamie made for me, some bacon, some eggs. That was a yummy way to start things. My older son, Brady, came over. We hung out for a couple hours. And then my daughter, Mackenzie, took me to one of the greatest American spectacles known to man. That's right. That's when we went to the American Sign Museum. I wrote about this week's six pack, so I won't go into it much here. But I do have to say, guys, it did not disappoint. It was, first of all, it was much more crowded than I expected. I honestly was expecting us to be the only people there and some 95-year-old guy like sharing a few tidbits of these old signs. But I mean, it was like legit. Parking lot was packed. It actually felt crowded a few times, like walking through the place. And what, you can get through it in 60 to 90 minutes. We were right around 60 minutes, but it was well worth the trip. I love that type of stuff. I love learning new things. I love nostalgia. I definitely learned more than I ever thought possible about how signs are made and the different types of signs throughout history. Just saw a lot of cool old vintage signs. So it was awesome, and really glad I got to go. And I think Mac enjoyed it as well. So then I got to watch a lot of golf, and the rain delay sucked, but man, I just love the U.S. Open. I just love it, and
phenomenal.
Honestly, I loved that there weren't a ton. I mean, Hovland was up there; he's a big name, but a lot of the other guys are not what you would call big names. Although Scheffler and Rahm still finished top 10, which we'll talk about when we get into our look back from last week. But it was fun. It was just awesome, and I loved it. So.
Nice.
But guys, while I was watching it, I heard something and saw something that is actually going to take us into the next part of our opening here. We all know Oakmont has a ton of difficult CN traps, and many of them have names, pretty cool names, actually. So there's the piano keys, there's the coffin, but the most famous one is the church pews between holes 3 and 4, and they came into play a lot throughout the 4 days, and the TV talked about it every time somebody was on 3 or 4. They talked about the church pews and talked a lot about the history, showed old Arnie shooting a famous shot out of there. And so it just got me thinking, what are some other really cool nicknames in sports that aren't about players? We're not talking about nicknames for players or nicknames for teams, but about like the game itself, the venue, or some part of the experience. So some examples: Amen Corner at Augusta. That's a great one. That's a great example. The Green Monster at Fenway. Even like fan bases, like the Cameron Crazies is always one that I think of with Duke, or even plays like the Miracle at the Meadowlands is a famous one. So there's a lot out there, and I just want to take a few moments, see what some of our favorites are. Again, it can be nicknames for stadiums, sections of the field, rivalries, legendary plays, fan bases. Couple caveats: what it can't be, like I said, it can't be player nicknames. We've done those in the past, and it can't be nicknames for like team units, like the Purple People Eaters or the Legion of Boom. We'll save those for another show, because I think that's a different category. All right, Pat, you ready? What you got?
First of all,
oh yes,
you deserve that one.
Modelo especial. Come on, phone. There we go. I like the college football stadium names. Like you got the Swamp, Death Valley, Happy Valley. Those are always fun.
I didn't think of Happy Valley. That's a good one.
Yeah. You got at the Indy 500, there's the Snake Pit, which is the infield, which is a good one. But yeah, I couldn't think of much. I couldn't think of many more.
Those are good though.
Yeah.
Good list.
But I always like the football stadium ones. So.
Yeah, I had a few that jumped to mind as well. Golf wise, I thought of Carnoustie right away for Carnoustie.
That's good. Yeah.
A course I was fortunate to play, the Poor Man's Pebble Beach. It's called Pacific Grove Links, and it's down in Monterey, and they openly call themselves Poor Man's Pebble. But it was a really nice course. It had some beach waterfront, oceanfront access, and a lot of beautiful holes. And I think we might have paid $60 or $80 to play it versus the $400 or whatever it was at Pebble.
Nice.
So Poor Man's Pebble. Stretches of holes, I thought of the Bear Trap, the Green Mile, the Gauntlet. You mentioned Amen Corner. Pat mentioned the Snake Pit at Indy, which I didn't know that, but there's a snake pit
at Valspar,
also,
right? Yeah.
At the Valspar, at Copperhead at Innisbrook. So yeah, good one there. And then just a few more for stadiums. I love the Mistake by the Lake, the old Cleveland Stadium.
That's a great one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That one kind of popped right into my mind. Candlestick,
yeah.
Big A, the Big A, which was Angel Stadium, was actually the first outdoor stadium that I remember going to as a kid. We were down in Disneyland, and I remember walking out of the concourse level through the tunnel, and we were sitting behind home plate, and the greenness of the field when you grew up going to the Kingdom was just unbelievable. So I always kind of had a soft spot for the Big A. And then Jerry World, the Big House, which I figured you might mention, Eric, and then the shoe or the horseshoe, which obviously is your hated rivals.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
another one.
tons of good ones. It was kind of fun thinking
You
about
just
all.
made me think of, was there one called the Big Sombrero? What am I thinking of? I swear there's a stadium that I think Berman used to maybe call it the Big Sombrero.
Yeah, was it? Why am I thinking of Tampa? Was it before the Big Sombrero? Maybe we'll have to look that up or send our chief research officer.
Let's get our CRO on that. But yeah, I had a few different categories. So a couple under what I'm just calling event nicknames. So nicknames of like actual big events. So fastest 2 minutes in sports for the Kentucky Derby. I've always loved that, and I think that's just a great moniker. And then one of my favorites for the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. I love that.
Nice.
I think Keith Jackson actually coined that nickname, which I think makes it even cooler.
Whoa, Nelly. Keith Jackson.
And then you got some nicknames for stadiums. There's a lot of good ones. The Friendly Confines, I think. I was just up there for regular. I think that's cool. What I've always loved is just the Igloo for Pittsburgh. Just the Penguins play there. I don't know. I just thought that was cool and creative. And then Death Valley, you mentioned, Pat, but I got a question for you guys. So which Death Valley, when I say Death Valley, what do you think of? LSU or
LSU?
Clemson.
Yeah. Oh, see, I think LSU.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just what popped into my head. Yeah.
I think LSU was the one where their crowd got so loud, they registered on the Richter scale, I think, back in the late 80s. Famously, I'm almost certain that was the place where it happened, was LSU.
And Happy Valley's Penn State, right?
Yeah.
Happy Valley's Penn State. Yeah. Close to home, I got to go with the Jungle. Bengals home field. I just think it's cool. It's where the Bengals play. They play Welcome to the Jungle, blaring it before the game starts, right up until the kicker kicks the ball off for the kickoff. So that's kind of cool. You mentioned the Indy. I went with the Brickyard. I just think that's kind of cool for the Indy 500. And then one of my all-time favorites is Frozen Tundra. For
good one.
I just think, thought that's awesome. And then a couple for just fan bases. The Dog Pound for Cleveland, I thought was great. The Black Hole for Raiders. I think unofficially there are 6 unreported deaths per year from visiting team fans sitting in that section during a Raiders game. I'm kidding.
Really?
I'm kidding.
Oh, I was
it's
like,
unofficial.
what?
It's unofficial. No, but I would not sit in the Black Hole. It would make me nervous.
They're lunatics.
And then, I always liked Arnie's Army. I thought that was
that's a great one.
Just the followers of Palmer. And then finally, just a few nicknames for plays that I always thought was, famous one, the shot heard around the world, long time before we were even born, but one of the most famous home runs ever back in 51, Bobby Thompson's game-winning home run. And then might be the best nickname ever for this category. Probably is, in my opinion. 1972, considered by many
good one,
the greatest play in NFL history, the Immaculate Reception. I mean, that is just
so clever.
Don't forget about the Philly Special.
Philly Special, yeah.
What's the Philly Special?
That was the one with the
throwback to Nick Foles.
Yeah, Nick Foles caught it.
Oh, that actually won me some money. I remember.
Tush Push.
Tush Push is good.
Brotherly Shove.
The brotherly shove's good.
That's clever. Yeah, that's
the brotherly shove's good. Just 2 final ones. The Kick Six is being one of probably the most recent one on this list. That's pretty cool. I think that's a cool name. And then you guys know how I like alliteration and I like rhyming. So I had to go with Malice at the Palace. That one's always stuck with me too. So
yeah, good ones.
That's all I got. All right.
That's all you got?
That's all I got. Yep. I'm spent. And I'm spent.
All
right. Well,
I had 2. I had 3.
That's right. You got us started.
It's quality. It's quality, not quantity.
Not quantity. All right.
Yeah. Are you guys ready to get in the rest of the show? Should we do this?
Never.
Never. I really should be careful how I ask that question to Pat, but we're going to get into it anyways, damn it. All right. So in just a moment, we'll get into Be My Guest. Then it's on to Hot Takes, Stone Cold Locks for the Travelers. And finally, we'll wrap up with our top 5, where this week we will honor some of our favorite TV dads of all time. We'll have plenty of fun and shenanigans along the way, including Pat explaining why post-impressionism was clearly superior to neoclassicism in shaping the European art scene of the 1880s. Really looking forward to that segment.
How do
All
you
right,
come
boys.
up with these? It's just amazing to me.
It is time for mine and yours favorite guessing game. That's right. It is time for Be My Guest. This is the game where you guys try to guess some sort of sports list and are usually very, very wrong. The last few we have hit on teams and team records and performance of teams. But today, guys, we're going to people, specifically college football coaches. And I think this is going to be a tough one. Yeah, I think this is going to be a tough one, guys.
Boy.
We're going to have to probably pull out some clues here, and we'll get into it, though. So today, I'm asking you to name the top 10 longest tenured FBS head coaches with the same team. Okay. 10 longest tenured FBS head coaches with the same team. All right.
Not
Pat,
not necessarily current.
No, current.
Oh, okay.
Current. Sorry. Yeah,
okay.
I guess that's an important.
I was thinking of Joe Pa, like right off the bat.
No, top 10 current longest tenured FBS.
Who goes first?
Yes.
I'm still in last.
You're
right?
gonna go
So
first, but you go first. Hold on one, but yeah. So Pat had a great week last week. You're only down by 4. So Bill's at 12, Pat's at 8. Just a reminder how you get points: 2 points for top 5, 1 point for 6 through 10, and you get -1 for every guess that's wrong. I am feeling a little charitable today because I think this could be a little tougher. So if for some reason you can't think of the coach's name, but you're like, it's that guy. I know that guy's from XYZ University. I'm going to count that. I am going to count that. And a couple other things, 15 seconds to give your answer from the time I tell you that you're on the clock. Okay. And I am going to just tell you this. I'm going to predict there's one guy that neither of you will get, even if I give you the school and it's Power 4 and he's been there 12 years. And I still don't think you'll get him, but maybe you'll prove me wrong. So if you do, I will be very impressed. All right.
This is D1 only, right?
D1 FBS.
FBS. Okay.
Sorry, FBS Power 4. FBS Power 4.
Oh, FBS Power 4. Oh,
yeah. Okay. For example, Troy Calhoun was 4th on this list, but he's not Power 4. So only Power 4.
Okay. Are you
ready?
Right,
go ahead. Yes.
I'm pretty sure this guy's name is Kirk Ferentz from Iowa.
Number 1, baby.
Good one.
Number 1, baby. All right. I gotta, so we got Pat.
I was just hoping you weren't going to pick the one that was in my head. It wasn't Kirk.
Well, I'm hoping you're not taking my guy. I know another one. I know another guy.
I'm going with Dabo.
Thank you.
Sweeney.
So Dabo is 4th. Okay, good job, Bill.
Oh God, I can't think of his name. He is Utah's coach. Utah's head coach.
Yeah,
Kyle
Whittingham.
Kyle Whittingham. Yep,
perfect.
You got it.
Yeah, nice one.
He's third. By the way, I guess I should. So Kirk Ferentz is the only coach that started where he's at last century. He started in 1999.
Wow,
so that's kind of cool. And then Kyle Whittingham, 2005. So he's actually tied for second with another coach, but then Dabo started in 2009. All right,
nice.
Good job, Pat. All right,
good one, Pat. I love Kyle Whittingham too. He's great.
He's so underrated.
Yeah, he is. I think we had him as
we've talked about him.
Yeah, we have.
5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm just drawing a total blank.
All right, -1. Sorry, buddy.
That's right.
Bill was not able to come up. All right, you may want to use this time to start thinking, Bill.
We need to get like 1 30-second timeout or like extension, like a
phone. Can we phone a friend?
Phone a friend. All right.
Again, I suck with names, especially during the off season. But the Penn State head coach, dude with the glasses.
So good. So he's
James
7.
Franklin.
James Franklin. There you go.
Yeah, I almost
job.
I had him in my mind as well.
Good
So,
job. Good
Is
job.
he what's he on the list?
He was 7th.
Okay.
He's 11th season. 11th season started in 2014. Go ahead, Bill.
This was the guy I had thought of and then forgot when it was my turn last time. I'm pretty sure he's still there. Mike Gundy.
Finally.
He's tied for second with
Okay,
Whittingham.
yeah.
He's 20 seasons, started in 05. So yeah, great one. All right.
God, I just thought of it and then I totally spaced on my guess. Damn.
So
Cost me a
you
point.
got 1 through 4. You guys have 1 through 4, and you got 7.
Oh man, I feel like we've been rowing the boat for a few years, Sky.
Oh, I thought of
with
one.
Gopher head coach. Now I can't. I'm drawing a blank again. He coaches the Gophers.
I'll give you his name. That is PJ
It's
Fleck.
PJ Fleck. Damn it.
And I knew you were gonna guess him, dude. And I feel bad. He is 11th.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I thought you were.
I really felt. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna. I know.
Has he been there? What now? Like 8,
So
9 years?
he's
Yeah,
been
there a few years.
Yeah, he's been there since 2017. Yep.
Wow, 7 seasons, maybe 8. Wow. Okay. Well, that was close. All right. Now I am dropping we've also named this guy. I'm just going to use my time to try to think of his name. Greg Schiano.
No.
Yeah,
Rutgers.
right.
No.
No, he was
I
with
I thought he'd been there
Panthers,
for a
wasn't he,
while.
or something?
He was there for a
Carolina
long time, and then
Panthers?
he left, and he came back. He's only been there like a year or two, I think, in the new
Yeah.
state.
Really? Oh, okay. I missed his his departure and his full circle moment. Damn it. All right, Greg.
I'm just
I'm
gonna
gonna
start.
give you.
Wait, I know. Notre Dame coach. How long's that
No.
dude been there?
James Freeman. I don't think he's
Please
been there
try
very long.
again.
No. Sorry, dude.
I'm just gonna start picking schools. I don't know any
Yeah,
other
well,
coaches.
Because I mean, I was kind of doing the same thing, running down through like the Big Ten. I mean, most of those guys have not been there very long. Maybe I'm missing somebody.
I'm gonna let Bill guess, and then I'm gonna start giving you guys
Okay.
some hints.
Okay.
Pretty sure I have the school
It's not.
for my next one.
Okay. Well, then I'll let you go.
Bob Sacamano.
Yeah. Bob said, "Come on." All right, you got 5 seconds.
Not Belichick. Not.
Belichick.
Time's up.
Oh crap!
All right. Do you want to hit that?
Give me. Can I just give you the school and then that's good
Yeah.
enough?
Yeah.
The Duke head coach. Isn't the Duke head coach been there a long time? No.
No, I mean, I'm not. He may be, but he's not on this list.
I think you might be thinking of the dude that left.
I think Duke
Uh,
Elko, I think, was there, right? And then I don't know. There was a guy
Yeah.
there for a while. Oh, Cutcliffe was there for a long time. Yeah.
That was the guy I was thinking of. Cutcliffe. David Cutcliffe. All right, I'll take a hint, Bierman. Hint me up.
All right. So there's 2 guys tied for 5th. One is the guy that I said I don't think you'll guess, even if I tell you his school. So I'll start with telling you he's in the ACC. And then the other guy's in the SEC, but not at a school you would probably think of.
Yeah, I don't know the Vandy coach, so I can't guess him. The first one you said was, I'm sorry, what was the first conference? You said ACC, right? I'll go with
ACC.
Georgia Tech's head coach. I don't know his name.
No.
Ah, shit. All right.
No.
Minus 3 points now, I think. 3 wrong guesses.
I don't even want to guess. Wake Forest's coach.
Oh, that's a good one.
Let me give you a clue.
All right,
I'm going to give Pat a yeah.
I was trying to think of not as good teams.
So I'm actually going to give you the team. I'm
Oh.
giving you the name of the, but this case you have to give me his name.
Go
Okay.
Schmo.
The coach at North Carolina State has been
Mhm.
there 12 seasons.
Oh,
Gosh.
his dad was a coach. Bert Bierman. Is it Bierman? No, not Bierman, but starts with a B.
You're thinking of the Minnesota
The
coach
guy,
from
his
the 40s.
dad had this like weird face.
Oh,
Beamer?
yeah.
Yeah,
Beamer.
Beamer.
It's not
It's
Beamer.
not Shane Beamer. No.
Shane
No.
Beamer.
He's at South Carolina, I think.
That's right. South
I
Carolina.
don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah, well, this one is
This
we're gonna
is
have
hard.
to call it audible.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a guess, and then we're gonna end it. So
we had one SEC and we had one ACC. Oh, trick question almost. Justin Wilcox.
Goodbye.
He is just outside. He was 12.
What?
Yeah, he was 12.
Oh,
So
heartbreak. I thought I had one.
All right, so this was a lot. This was tough. So I'm gonna just tell you guys. So tied for 5th. His name is Dave Doran. Dave Doran of NC State. He's been there 12 seasons, 87-65 record, which isn't bad.
Honestly, never heard of him. I'm dead serious.
That's why I told you. I told you guys I will give you the name of the school and you still won't get him.
Yeah.
And then this guy, though, you guys should have got this guy. SEC school, but known for awesomeness, not in football. The school is known as being the greatest basketball program of all time.
Oh, Kentucky.
Carolina, Kentucky.
Mike.
We're going to have to make this easier next week. Mark Stoops.
Marks. I was thinking
and
Mike
then
Stoops.
I'm going to just put you guys under misery the rest of it.
Thank you.
So 8th place is Pat Narduzzi of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, old Pitt.
Matt Campbell of Iowa State.
I almost said that after you said Kirk Ferentz, Iowa.
And then 10th on this list, started 2016. Only won a couple national championships since then. Kirby Smart of Georgia.
Oh, Pat.
We should have got Kirby. We're done.
We should have got Kirby.
It's the off season. I'm not thinking about football.
Are we taking 0 points each, or how is this working this week?
I mean, I got the score. So Pat actually ended up with 2 points positive, and then Bill, you got 4, and so you got 0. So Pat actually
he picked up
gained 2 more points. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Next week is going to be Guns N' Roses songs.
In case anyone's wondering,
I do terrible at that.
Non-power 4, Troy Calhoun I mentioned. He's been there since 2007. Jeff Munkin of Army has been there since 2014. Chris Creighton of Eastern Michigan. You guys never would have guessed him. He's 2014. And then my alma mater, Chuck Martin of Miami. He was also 2014.
Shouldn't that Creighton guy coach at Creighton? That seems like it's made to be.
Yeah, I don't think they have football there.
Yeah,
all right, guys. That was brutal, and you guys should be ashamed of yourself. And really, you should all get negative 20 points. Okay, it is now time to get into hot takes. Yes, that's right. It is time for Sammy and Sports Hot Takes, brought to you by Mike's Hot Honey. The honey's so hot, even Banana Boat and Coppertone can't help these guys. It's hot. It's great. It's ready for you. Do yourself a favor. Go to mikeshothoney.com right now and order some, or go to the honey aisle at your local grocery store. All right, Pat, please get us the hell away from that awful guessing experience you two put on and give us your hot takes.
And I got 2 hot takes this week. First, I really liked the carnage at the U.S. Open. It made it anyone's tournament to win, which Scheffler even had a chance, as we were saying before, at one point when you thought at the beginning of the day he had no shot. And coming down the stretch, he had a little bit of a chance. And then, but you get some tournaments where coming down the stretch, there will be no volatility. The conditions are perfect. Nothing's going to happen. On this scoreboard, you're like, anything could happen at any second. And it did. Guys are posting triple bogey, and, it's just, it was a fun tournament to watch until I turned it off. At the most important part, I watched everything up until like hole 12 on Sunday, but really cool tournament. But I loved the volatility in that. And then my other thought was Stanley Cup final last night. Panthers won. They always do this stat, the time on ice, the ice time stat when you're watching hockey. But I think another stat they should throw in there is time the puck is on the stick. Because if you watch McDavid, he has the puck on his stick constantly. And then once he gets the zone entry, usually he's the one bringing it into the zone. And once he gets into the zone, all these teammates are looking to pass him the puck and, looking for him to do something special, which is, I think, ultimately their demise is their, I think they feel like
too reliant.
They feel like they have to give him the puck, and he's got to do something special. And I think it's just too much pressure for him in the end. So tough to see Edmonton lose. I was hoping they wouldn't have to go through that again. But it's good fun. Playoff hockey is the best, and it's over.
Yeah.
So,
how many teams are in Canada? 10, 12?
No, not that many.
Florida's won like 4 in this decade.
In the
Lightning,
span. That's crazy.
The Lightning won back to back, and now
Vancouver, Calgary,
at least 8.
Edmonton, Toronto, Ottawa,
Montreal. Did you say Montreal?
Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Thank you. 7, maybe?
Sounds about right. How many provinces are there in Canada?
Too many.
That's like 10? Guessing.
I don't know.
Be my guess. Name the provinces.
Oh, God. You'd probably do better.
To right, from left to right.
We would do better than
we would
college coaches.
Crush. Yeah, for sure. Apparently, Pat and I never watched college football. Yeah, I mean, Pat, were you done with your hot takes? You said 2, and I thought you had it.
Probably. I mean,
those were my top 2 as well. Those were my top 2. How good are the Panthers? Well, I just couldn't help but thinking like, oh, Canada, just like, again, they lose. They're halfway to the Buffalo Bills now with Edmonton losing 2 in a row. The whole nation is mourning because they didn't get it done again. But Florida's just so talented, and I think all of us watching the Stanley Cup kind of knew that it felt inevitable. They were just so good, so dominant. So pretty cool. And my Minnesota buddies that I'm on a text thread with, they were shooting a bunch of stuff after, just some of the cool things about the Stanley Cup as well. The way that they parade the cup around, and their captain Barkov, he was making sure that all the first timers in the Stanley Cup finals got to lift the trophy first, which was just kind of a cool move for a veteran and a captain, I thought. And then I saw a clip on Twitter this morning of him on ice still in skates, lifting the cup above his head with all of the employees of the Florida Panthers up in the stands. And this was at 1 a.m. After hours after the game, he was still celebrating with the employees of the Florida Panthers organization. So pretty classy dude, pretty cool. It feels like hockey players are just kind of a cut above when it comes to cool shit. They're not rolling on the ground like soccer guys. They're playing with, lacerations and broken legs and all sorts of stuff, and just tough dudes that are cool dudes. So
they get to take the cup to their hometowns for a day.
Yeah. And then have it for the day. Yeah.
And have it for the day. That's kind of cool too.
When do you think that they finally have to go with a different trophy? Because in 50 years,
there's bands. So it's wrapped. It's a band that wraps around it, and then one of the bands gets, removed. The oldest band is removed.
Oh, okay.
Probably
so
the
trophy
sent to the
won't
Hall
keep
of Fame.
growing.
So the trophy keeps going.
Okay.
It's just it's etched on these bands.
I see. Okay, I thought the trophy just had to keep like expanding and expanding.
Yeah,
that would be crazy in 50 years. That thing already looks like it's super heavy. Pat mentioned the U.S. Open. We've talked about it a bit, but congrats to Pat on his Victor Hovland, Calcutta. I had a piece with some buddies of Robert McIntyre. So, to have 2 of the guys in the top 5 is pretty cool on this podcast. And Bierman would have probably won it if he participated because he's the Calcutta king.
Yeah. Thanks for rubbing it in, guys. Thanks.
Yeah. But I just have to give quick flowers to JJ Spaun. A kid grows up in LA. I wrote about this in Crush and Fade. What a cool story. The guy basically almost quit golf last year. I mean, he lost his tour card twice. He's battled back after winning an event in 2022, I think it was. And then he's basically wins the National Open, isn't on top of the PGA Tour, at the moment, and just on an impossible golf course. The guy just hit clutch shot after clutch shot down the stretch. He shot 40 on the front 9. 40 on the front 9, and then comes back and shoots a 32 on the back. I mean, just incredible performance, draining that 64-footer to win it. How crazy was it that Victor Hovland hit his ball just behind and to the side so that he actually gave JJ Spaun a read on that last putt? but still, I mean, I was telling my dad, if we put 100 balls down, I don't know if any of the three of us would make one of those putts that he made. And if you said, you know, hey, you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chances to get it within 10 feet, I'm not sure I would.
Did you see, I think it was maybe Bryson or something. He said like an 18 handicap would shoot 200 there. I'm an 18 handicap. Basically.
It doesn't surprise me.
Like, I don't, 200.
There was a guy.
On. There's no way.
There was a guy that is a scratch golfer. He's a 0.6 handicap. He went out and played the very next day, same pin placements, with a tee box forward from where the pros played, and he shot 93. Scratch.
I feel like I could I feel like I could get 150.
Dude, I actually wrote about that. In my 6-pack, I wrote about that. He did. Bryson said 200. I'm about an 18. I don't think I could do it. I mean,
you don't think?
Dude,
come on.
No. That is averaging an 11 per hole from the tips.
If you're in the shit, you're screwed.
If you're in the shit, that's 4 just to get out. Putting, it's not like putting at your local course, dude. You're gonna 4-putt every freaking green if you're lucky.
You are. I'm not. I'm going low.
Dude, I'm telling you,
low.
I think it would be, honestly, some buddies we were talking, they think it would be great TV to have.
I love this. I know where you're going.
They should.
18 handicap, 3 18 handicaps, basically. The final foursome, final 3. And just, I would watch that to see how they're doing.
I don't know why they do not do that yet. Why do they not have
exactly
this televised?
I'm like, how is that not happening? Why are they not doing that?
They couldn't put spectators. They couldn't put spectators on the course though, because I would hit one like
kill people.
a Widowmaker missile.
Well, you'd have to. No, you literally would have to have. Fans couldn't watch, but
you'd be like,
I mean,
you guys,
think about just the opportunities from like a marketing standpoint of people like being selected to be those 3.
Or like
I don't know how it hasn't
pair them up with, in like, you know how they do these pro-ams, like have like a pro with some other guy and have them golfing in the same group.
So pro who didn't make, because you wouldn't want, if you're a pro playing the U.S. Open, you're not going to want to play with me. But maybe it's a pro who's not in the U.S. Open, like a Ricky Fowler, for example, who would be willing to play.
Crushing beers, music on in the cart.
The speaker in the cart.
Speaker in the cart.
I mean, at the very least, why not do it? Bierman, I like your idea. It's got to not affect the pace of play. So you can't have the guys go off first or somewhere in the middle. So it goes at the end, but then just maybe you don't even broadcast it the day of the tournament, but on Monday you release that thing on PGA Tour Media.
You could edit it.
It would go. That might get more views than the tournament itself.
Yeah.
I honestly,
brilliant idea.
I really don't know how
that's
going to happen. Yeah.
And it would just once a year. Just have like just a bunch of shows,
or maybe do it at the at the U.S. Open. That'd be incredible. But I was thinking also at the Masters.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool
so
too.
Cool. Maybe all the.
But you're right. You don't want to oversaturate it. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see schmucks like us how we do on that course.
Totally.
I would watch that just as much as I would watch the U.S. Open.
Do like side bets, games.
Well, that's the other thing. You could put odds on guys if they're all if they're all the same handicap. You could put. You could bet on them.
Yeah.
Or how about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something, but apply it to this where you just have the random Joe that's 18 handy, and you come in and you say that net score, if you break par, then you win $1 million or something like that.
Or
I mean, just put that extra.
I haven't had a birdie in the last like 2 rounds. 2 or 3 rounds. I haven't had a birdie, and it'd be fun to be like, all right, every eagle's worth 20,000.
Yeah,
every birdie's worth 5,000.
Here's the question: do they get caddies?
I think so. I think you should. Yeah.
Bring your own caddy.
I mean,
could you imagine?
that would be cool too.
I think I would rather be the caddy, to be honest with you.
My gosh. I mean, there's so many different ways you could take this, and I think the golf public would eat it up.
It would be refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Dude,
so.
we gotta pitch this, man. Does anybody know an executive at NBC? We gotta get this going.
I listened to
or
the
CBS, I guess,
Full Swing
podcast.
Maybe I could
There
hit
you
those
go.
guys up. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brilliant. One last thing before you go, Bierman, on yours.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add one more thing to the U.S. Open. This is a little bit of an open-ended, so I don't know if we go deep on this today, but I just kind of wanted to throw this out there and get your guys' opinion. Did you see that Wyndham Clark allegedly bashed a couple of lockers in the Oakmont locker room?
I saw that.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
No.
Do you know why?
played poorly, and they were, I guess, saying that he was just pissed off and he just took it out on these lockers. And
was Judge Smales there?
Well, so here's my thing. I'm not saying that we need to sit here and bash Wyndham Clark. I mean, look, we have tempers. I don't know why we hold golfers to this like extremely high standard where you have other guys come in and hit the bat against the Gatorade cooler and you know, it's like golfers, for some reason we feel like they have to be these perfect individuals, and it just doesn't seem realistic to me.
Isn't it called like the gentleman's game though?
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like there's a line, right? You just can't
It's
cross.
why I love it, dude. It's why I love golf. One of my hot takes is actually, did you guys see Robert McIntyre's
yes
reaction? Dude,
Wow.
he's watching his opportunity to win the US Open go away, and he's clapping and he says, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
how do you not love that guy?
I mean,
now, right?
That
like
it's just so
like,
it's so freaking class. I've always liked him, but I'm like,
yeah.
I love that, and even more so now because of the way he acted. It is a reason why I love golf, is because they do seem just a step above in terms of class, professionalism. I mean, Patrick Reed not included, but everybody else. I mean, these guys are freaking right up there.
Did you see Patrick Reed's albatross? Patrick Reed's albatross.
Yeah,
that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I like Patrick Reed. I don't know. I mean, I don't know him as a person, but I like.
I mean, he's like a proven cheater.
I like him.
The challenge. So here's the last bit on this, because Bierman, you're gonna add some flavor. Maybe you already did with Bob Mack, who I love. But my question to you guys was going to be, how does that video get out? Why are we seeing what happens in the men's locker room at Oakmont? It feels to me like this is becoming this, like, is nothing, like, is there
sacred.
no
or why do we care about Rory McIlroy's marriage? You know, stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
it just doesn't need to be there.
Why? Let the guy get pissed. Let him ruin some shit. Then let him come back and go, I'm an idiot. I need to pay for the damages. I shouldn't do that, right? But like, for someone to post this on social media, where I'm guessing he didn't think that it would be out there in the public eye. So was he right to do it? Of course not. No, he wasn't. But I just feel like this feels dirty to me. Like, why would somebody post that about him? And that was the part where I'm like, I just feel like what happens in the locker room needs to stay in the locker room. Obviously, unless it's like a Joe Pa situation or something like that, crosses a different line, right? But anyway, that was my hot takes.
Awesome. Well, guys, my first hot take is I'm getting old. I know that's hard to believe, but I remember, so college football has always been my favorite sport. I love pro football, love lots of sports, but college football has always been there. And as a kid, I was always like enamored with like, these are college kids. Like, oh my God, they're older than me, almost like pseudo role models to me. And I always looked up to them and I just thought that was cool. I'll be there soon. Then I'm in college and it's like, these guys are my age. So that's cool. You know, I can relate to these guys and going to root them on. Then it's, you graduate, you get the real world. Then it's, these guys they're still within 10 years of my age. So kind of same generation, I can relate. Then it's, these kids were born while I was in college. And now it's my buddy's kid who I was at their baptism, who's about to be a high school junior, just got offered a scholarship by my Michigan Wolverines. So I do have to brag
Wow.
a little bit on a kid named Riley Newman out of Lakota West High School here. His dad, Dave, is a close friend of mine. He's been giving me updates. So Riley's a junior, tight end / defensive end. I mean, this guy's a beast. He already has offers from Iowa, Oregon, Stanford, Maryland, others. But last week he was invited to the Michigan football camp in Ann Arbor. He won the MVP of the camp. And Michigan moved fast, offered him a scholarship. A local writer said, quote, Michigan made a major move today. High motor, loves contact, violent effort, never leaves the field. Riley Newman is a name to watch skyrocket as the 2027 cycle unfolds. So just want to take a moment. I'm getting old, but still love the fact that Riley is doing great. Huge congrats to him, his family, and watching this journey from the front row is kind of cool. So go get it, big man, and go blue, brother. All right. So my second one, guys, I know I've been raving about the College World Series on this pod. Been talking about it in my 6-pack. I love the College World Series. It's one of my favorite events. And so I got to take a moment to explain a little bit to why. So Exhibit A, Gage Wood, Arkansas pitcher, broke upstart underdog Murray State's heart by not only holding them scoreless, but he actually threw a no-hitter. The first one since 1960 in the College World Series, only the third ever thrown there. Oh, and by the way, he did it with 19 strikeouts, which set a College World Series record. He actually had a perfect game going into the 8th when he hit one of the batters in the foot. And that was it. Nothing else. That was his no-hitter. I mean, that's just not dominance. I mean, that's mythic. That's legendary. We talk a lot about October Magic, March Madness, bowl season hype, but June in Omaha, guys, is pretty freaking cool. It delivers just as hard, and I just love that this kid he cemented himself as a Razorback legend, and I think anybody watching saw why the College World Series is so great and why I love the event. So just wanted to give Mr. Wood there some kudos. And then my third outtake, I already mentioned it, was Robert Mack. Classy guy, and I'm not a JJ Spaun guy. There's something about him I've never liked, although I will say it was cool. I mean, he was classy, he was humble, and he was great. And it goes back to, it is a reason why I love golf, is just how professional and classy these guys are. So I hate hearing what you shared about the locker room, but you're right, man. That stuff shouldn't get out. There's got to be some brotherhood with that too. Who's recording that shit? Because I mean, you think it was another golfer, right?
I don't know the guy, but
could be a caddy.
Some media guy that had access is my understanding.
Okay, well that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, he's a media guy. Of course he's going to do that.
Just crappy. All the way around. Wyndham never should have done it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys. Well, let's get into our Stone Cold locks. This week brings us to the Travelers, where we could see a post-major hangover, but it still is a signature event. And I do just have to say, Bill, I read this week's Crush and Fade, and as always, so good, man. And I love your point about no-cut events.
Yeah,
I hate them. I just
so lame.
Why? I'm actually asking you a serious question. Why do they have no-cut events? What's the advantage?
I think it was to compete with Live, and
so the guys can make money. Make money no matter what.
And you reward the top players with guaranteed money for showing up, but it sucks for the fans. And no one watches Live because who cares? There's no cut, and no one cares about team golf when it comes to some group of 4 players. I mean, could you guys name one team in Live?
The Aces.
No, but I mean, sorry, not the team name, but who's on the Aces besides Dustin
DJ.
Johnson? Yeah. Besides, I mean, and no one cares. No one cares. Yeah, Eric, I'm with you. The signature events below. It's just not good, entertaining golf. It's not.
Does Live make any money? They can't be making money.
Not yet.
I don't know. I can't stand it. That needs to go away.
I've never watched, so I can't
Never
speak from
never
experience.
seen one.
But yeah,
Yep.
yeah, sucks.
Well, last week, guys, we didn't do great. It wasn't a star week, but Bill came through with the top 10 with his ROM pick. So that's not only
Rombo.
good news for him, but
Speaking of
it's
live.
also good news for me because that means Pat now has 16, Bill has 15, and I have 14. I wonder who I'm going to select for my first pick today. So we will find out in just a moment. All right, Pat, what do you got? Start us off.
Stone Cold locks this week are all by feel. Not a lot of research this week. I have Jordan Spieth because I feel like he's due. And I have Shane Lowry because he's pissed. And he's had a lot of time to just couple extra days to rest and refocus. And then Matthew Pavon. I think he's French. Pavon.
Yeah. Pavon.
And yeah, he's always kind of in there, in the mix. He actually had a good run. Was it the beginning of last year?
Yeah, he won at Torrey, I think.
Yeah.
Torrey Pines.
Yeah, and then he's kind of fell off the map, but he's my long shot this week because it's hard to pick long shots. There's only how many guys in the field this week? 70. So
yeah, last week it felt like we had 75 options to choose from, and that this week not nearly as many. Yeah.
Who you got, Billy?
I went with Sepp Straka. My rationale might be a little bit unorthodox, but I was actually saying that the guys that missed the cut last week may have a bit of an advantage this week because they weren't beat up so bad over the weekend. Sepp missed the cut. I love how his game translates here. He was plus 3,300. I like Sepp to have a good week this week, so he's my first pick. I went with Ben Griffin. I'm rolling with the Aviators. The guy just is so consistent, and his confidence seems to be at an all-time high. So I'm going to keep betting this guy until he gets on a downward trend. He was at plus 4,500. Seemed like great value for a guy who's been hot. And then my long shot is Ryan Fox at plus 11,000. I'm just going to keep with the theme of riding the hot hand. He's been playing great, and he bombs it. That's not necessarily the style that plays super well here, but hopefully he can keep it in the fairway a little bit and finish some holes where he needs to scramble. So Ryan Fox is my long shot.
All right, I'm going to end all the suspense, and I will take Scotty just because I can, and I have not picked him all year. This is my first time picking him, so I will do it. There isn't much I can give on this guy that we don't already know, but there's a few things I'll share. So his odds to win are actually at plus 300, which they've typically been at like plus 250, 260, so I thought that was strangely maybe a little bit of some value there. He won it here last year. And dude, guys, the guy was, he was out of sorts at the US Open. Basically from day one, he missed like 5 or 6 putts from like within 5 feet, including a 2-footer, I think, one day.
Yeah.
And he still finished tied for 7th at the US Open.
Crazy.
But guys, here's the crazy part. Scheffler has played in 13 tournaments in 2025. How many do you think he's finished top 10?
12.
Yeah, I was going to say 12.
Yeah. When I asked it, I'm like, you're probably going to over, but 10.
10
wow. Out of 13 and 8 in a row. 8 consecutive.
Not even at his best.
It's ridiculous. And Frank, so his odds to finish top 10 this week are minus 340. And frankly, I don't think those are too bad.
Yeah.
I don't think that's bad. He makes 10 out of 13. What is that? 70%? It's right up there. Those odds are pretty in line with his chances. So going with Scotty for the second, because I took Scotty, I'm going to go a little off the beaten path with my second pick. And I'm going to actually take Keegan Bradley. This guy, he's a plus 3,500, plus 550 for top 5, plus 260. He has the 9th best odds in this tournament to win.
Love Captain
He's had
Keegan.
a much better year than I realized. He's had 4 top 10s. He finished top 40 here last year, hasn't been spectacular in driving accuracy, which I think could play a role here, but he's been decent. Top 20 in bounce back, which has been Scotty's godsend this year. Scotty's number one. We've talked a little bit about that stat on the pod. He can get a bogey, but then comes right back and gets a birdie. And I think that's going to be important here. And, Keegan just doesn't let a bad hole dictate his round, and that's important. So I haven't picked Keegan all year. I just never really think of this guy, to be honest. But I like him. He's having a quietly nice year. So we're going with him. And then my dark horse, this guy's had 3 top 10 finishes. He's finished 31st here last year. He's top 40 in total strokes gained, and he's made 7 of 9 cuts. So pretty decent. Pat's Irish ancestors, every once in a while help this guy out. I need my German ancestors to help me with Stefan Jaeger, Meister Jaeger, the Jägermeister. Come on, buddy. Bring it for me. That's who we're going with today as my dark horse.
Nice.
Good pick.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys. Well, it is now time to get into our top 5. And about a month ago, we paid tribute around Mother's Day to our favorite TV moms of all time. So we thought it was only fair today to give the same platform for all those great TV dads out there. So today it's going to be simple. It's our top 5 favorite TV dads. Can be from any type of show, any genre. Just has to be a father on that show. Character has to be a father on that show. That's it. So, all right, Pat, what do you got? Lead us off.
At number 5, I went with Dr. Jason Seaver, Alan Thicke.
Oh, I thought about him.
As a big Growing Pains guy. That was a good show. And then
I love Alan Thicke, dude.
My number.
That guy's responsible for the most of the TV sitcom theme songs in the 70s and 80s.
Really?
He did.
He literally wrote.
He did.
He wrote and sang them. Yes.
Wow.
Alan Thicke.
Is he still with us?
That's where. No, he passed away probably 5-7 years. His son Robin Thicke is, obviously
singer.
Got that music talent. No, he sang all the different strokes, Growing Pains. He sang that. I don't think he sang Family Ties, but he was. I mean, there's probably I would guess a dozen that he probably did.
Was Growing Pains the one with Kirk Cameron? Was that? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Number 4 for me, I went with John Mahoney as Martin Crane in Frasier.
Great one.
Thought
about that.
I used to I think my parents used to watch that, and I'd be in the room, and I always remember thinking that guy's pretty clever. So it's John Mahoney as Martin Crane in Frasier was my number 4.
Nice. Bill? I went with number 5. Feel horrible about this, but I just had to do it. Cliff Huxtable. Bill Cosby played in the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
Obviously we've talked about this a fair amount.
Hey, don't feel horrible.
Okay.
Don't feel horrible. I'm gonna be.
Okay.
I'm gonna be echoing
you. Gonna back
don't
me
worry.
up. All right, good.
That'll be a 3-pack.
Okay.
There you
all right.
go.
Yeah.
There you
we all had Bill.
I put. He was a great TV show dad, and he had great sweater game. Absolutely great sweater game. He was funny. He was poignant. Obviously, when he was working on that show, much different times, but Bill Cosby Cliff Huxtable was my number 5. Number 4 is Johnny Rose, played by Eugene Levy in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
That show is just hilarious to me. I don't know, it tickled my funny bone. He was kind of the only sane one of the bunch, but I really thought he was hilarious dad on the show, and I wanted to have at least one sort of comedic actor in my list of 5. So Eugene Levy too. I just love that guy. Have you guys seen his travel series? It's quite funny.
He's fun. I love that guy.
Funny guy.
I love him. Yeah.
Yep. That's my 5 and 4. How about you, Eric?
Those are good ones. Yeah, it's my number 5. So my number 5 is the only non-sitcom dad on my list, but come on. This guy literally kills to keep his daughter safe. I'm going with Jack Bauer. Jack is hard-nosed, tough as nails. He saves the world basically every season, but he never stops caring.
And his daughter is a smoke show.
Oh, she's hot. Although she does irritate the hell out of me sometimes. I mean,
Alicia Cuthbert.
Yeah, Alicia Cuthbert. Yeah, she makes some poor decisions. Her character does on the show, but 24 is one of my all-time favorite shows. Bauer is one of the most intense father figures out there. So love him. gotta go with him. So
good pick.
All right, number 4 is Cliff Huxtable. We're not talking about actors that portrayed him, and we know that guy's a little questionable as him. We're talking about the character itself. I grew up in the 80s, so to not have Cliff Huxtable on this list would feel sacrilegious and just plain wrong. So the guy, I mean, he was funny, he was warm, he was always messing with his kids. He probably invented the dad joke. I mean, the types of jokes he made were pure dad jokes. But you know, he also like dropped life lessons in a way that like I remember like resonated with me. For example, there was an episode, I don't know if it was first few seasons. It actually impacted me. Like I remember like wow, okay. And it was about Theo. Theo wanted to not go to college. He's like, I just want to be regular people and I don't want to go to college. I don't need to. I can still make money. My buddy's dad does this or whatever. And so Cliff, like, he has this. There's a very famous scene that you can find on YouTube of just trying to talk him through like how much money it's going to actually take, but it still doesn't work. So Cliff turns the living room into like a full-blown mock apartment, and that's where like he lives, and he charges him fake rent, bills him for food, entertainment, watching the TV, and he shows him like how broke this guy's going to be. I mean, he gives him the money. Like he's like, how much do you think you'd make, you know, washing cars or doing whatever he's going to do? And he gives him that money and it gets, you know, eaten up really fast. So it was just, I don't know. It was really funny, but it was also super real. So
nice.
I always love that guy. So he's my number 4.
Nice. Well, he's my 3. So no need to.
There you go.
Yeah. Great show. But my number 2 is Jerry Stiller as Frank Costanza. Del Boca Vista.
Classic.
We got a 2-pack coming.
Yeah. So give me Jerry Stiller as Frank Costanza. Just played the character beautifully. Yeah.
I figured one of you guys at least would have him on there. Just a classic. So funny. My number 3, I went with Ned Stark. He's played by the actor Sean Bean. It's in Game of Thrones.
He's only in like 6 episodes.
Yeah, he was only that first season. I mean, spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen it yet, sorry. Yeah, they chop his head off at the end of the season. So, you know, I just love it. He raised 6 badass kids. You know, he teaches them loyalty, kindness, respect. You know, he's an honorable guy. He's an honest guy. He's a hardworking guy. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. Great character. And so he's number 3 on my list. Number 2, I struggled with this one, my 2 and 1, but I went with Tony Soprano. James Gandolfini.
I knew I would have bet $100.
I almost picked him.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's not a great guy. He's not a great husband. He probably isn't a great dad at certain parts of the show, but you know, underlying every terrible thing that he does, that he'll do anything for Meadow and Anthony Jr. I think he deserves to be on this list, a top 5. He's just an all-time character.
Meadow is also not ugly.
Yeah, she's very cute. Very cute.
Not ugly.
So,
not ugly.
Yeah. So Tony made my list. He's my number 2. How about you, Eric?
Yeah. So my number 3 is Frank Costanza. And I think it's interesting that I think it's important that we clarify this is a list of our favorite TV dads, not
good. Yeah.
the best. Because I would not say Frank Costanza is a good dad, but the guy freaking invented Festivus and the man's ear, for God's sake. So he yells at everybody. He has no filter, but man, he delivers some funny lines. I forgot about Del Boca Vista. But I will say, as a dad, he may not exactly be full of love, wisdom, or support. There was one there's one where George is presumed dead. They think he's dead, and George Steinbrenner has to go break the news to his parents. And his mom's like sad, and the dad starts ranting and yelling at George Steinbrenner. He's like, how the hell could you trade Buhner? Why would you trade Jay Buhner?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, so good. For all us Seattle Mariner fans, too. It's just the best.
I mean, it's just, yeah. So maybe not the best dad, but certainly the funniest TV dad. So he's my number 3.
Oh, that's funny.
My number 2, I gotta go with Phil Dunphy on Modern Family.
I knew he'd be on here.
Phil's philosophy book to thinking WTF means why the face. to knowing all the dance moves from High School Musical. I mean, he's warm, he's well-meaning, and he's often totally clueless. My wife thinks I'm a lot like Phil, and she has said that from the get-go. She has said since we started dating, I remember her telling me early on, she's like, "You're the coolest nerd I've ever met." And I kind of think that's how Phil, how I think about Phil too. So at the end of the day, though, all he wants is what's best for his kids and for them to think he's cool. He doesn't always get the latter, but he definitely always does the right things for his kids. So he's my number 2.
As we're doing this, I was like, a lot of mine are, because when we did the favorite TV moms, a lot of mine fathers are kind of along the same lines in the same show.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm not going to do Homer Simpson. I'm not going to do Tony Soprano. So I actually went with Phil Dunphy of Modern Family.
Yeah. Yeah. He could easily
just
my one too.
So funny. Yeah. So funny.
He is. Yeah.
I thought that was going to be Eric's number 1. So now I'm curious to hear what yours is too, but yeah, it's a good one.
Yep.
For me, my 2 and 1, I was just back and forth, but I eventually settled on Walter White, old Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad.
Wow.
This is one of those ones where I felt like it was a little bit of like Hall of Fame voting. It's like Ty Cobb, not a good dude. Pete Rose might have done some stuff, but these guys deserve stats matter. I guess that's my point. And here's old Walter White, battling cancer. He's a high school chemistry teacher, and obviously, goes on to produce and sell meth, and the whole thing happens. I think in part this is a little bit of a tip of the cap to the fact that Breaking Bad is probably my favorite show. If not, one, it's right there in the top 2 or 3. So Walter White, not a good dude at all, but cared about his family. It's funny, Pat, that you just mentioned the moms though, because I can't remember her name in the show, his wife, but she was such a bag, like so annoying and just terrible, right? I mean, I don't know. Obviously, he was not a good dude either, but that was one where I was like, I can't put those two together just because she was so horrible in that show. But Bierman, I'm dying to know your number 1 because I thought it was going to be Phil.
Yes, this one actually was it was the first one I thought of when we did this. Phil could easily have been number 1. He's great, but this guy, he goes back a long time. He kind of formed my childhood a little bit. I remember watching Different Strokes in the early 80s and thinking how lucky those 2 kids were to get adopted by Philip Drummond.
Mr. Drummond.
So that's who I got to go with. I mean, first off, the guy was mega rich. So yeah, that made me want him as a dad. He lived in a penthouse and he rode in a limousine. I'd call Pat daddy for that. I mean, come on. But he also, I mean, he had a heart of gold, guys. He adopted the 2 kids. He barely knew, his mom was like his like housekeeper, I think, and was on her deathbed, and she asked him if he would take care of them, and no hesitation, gives them a home. The interesting thing about this show, the show had a ton of very special episodes. I mean, it dealt with things like kidnapping, guns, molestation. I mean, it was some serious stuff.
It was
serious stuff in some cases. Some episodes weren't, but he always handled it, I just thought, with like love. He was calm, wise, and just a genuine sense of caring, not just for his kids, but everyone around him. So to me, I loved him. He was a great role model. But
the irony of that show is they had all these life lessons, and the kids that
and the
in
kids
real life all ended
Except
up like
him,
being in jail.
He was okay. Yeah, it was that. I mean, the only surviving main cast member of that show is Todd Bridges, the guy who played Willis.
Yeah. What you talking about?
And I think he's turned his life around a little bit now.
That's good.
But yeah. So and again, just to be clear, he was filthy, stinking rich. So he's my number 1.
Nice.
All right, boys. Well, good job paying tribute to all those great TV dads out there. There were definitely some good ones. So, Bill, before we wrap things up, what do we have for a poolside coming up?
Yeah, so not a ton to report here in episode 44, but in 45, I think we're going to be ready to officially announce an exciting side bet forum. So that's coming.
Nice.
Stay tuned. We're going to have that thing loaded in so that every single person that's a member at Sandman Sports can just easily click on it. It's going to be all integrated into the main experience. So we're really excited about that. And then obviously, teasing it out, it's a little bit ahead, but Eric mentioned it earlier. We've got British Open next month, but then football is only a couple months away, guys. So yeah,
you'll be
crazy
sending those emails out in about a month, right?
Yeah.
We usually confer like mid to late July, I think is when.
Yeah, mid to late
we start
July,
talking.
maybe first week of August, depending on how things going on with development of everything this year. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to think it's just right around the corner. So very excited about that. And then stay tuned for some golf stuff and a little baseball in between.
Awesome. All right, gents. It was another awesome show, of course, but sadly, it is time to exit CME Sports. CME Nation, thank you for tuning in. Again, please be sure to check us out on social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at Enter CME Sports, and our website, of course, at entercmesports.com. Have a great weekend, CME Nation. Peace out and take care.
Good luck, everybody.